guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the US. Well, today I'm here to show you how to make a truly pretty floral birthday card anyone would love to receive. And if you would like to stamp with me, just pause the video, look down in the video description and click on my blog post link, and that'll give you all the dimensions that you need and the supply list. Get all your supplies together and come back and stamp with me. Okay, what I'm going to be using to make this card is the Pretty Perennials bundle. This is in the new January to June mini catalog. Love this bundle. The first time I saw it used was during Onstage back in November when, I think you say her name, Dina Rekow. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right, but she's was a $1 Million achiever, and she was helped design this stamp set and the bundle, actually, the whole bundle. So I'm going to go ahead and get the dies out that we need. I need these two here, this one here, and I do believe that is it. Yes, it is. And I'm using another die set, which is called Stitch So Sweetly. You can find these in the annual catalog. Use these a lot. I'm going to use the second largest scallop rectangle. And those are all the dies we're going to use. Okay, the first thing we want to do is stamp one thing, and then we'll do all the die cutting. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. This is something that's not in the catalog right now, but you still can purchase it. You can find it in my online store. Just search for Stampin' Pierce mat, and you can find the link to my online store below in the video description. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. Yes, I said basic white, not Whisper White. The paper mill that used to make Whisper White for Stampin' Up had to go out of business because of COVID, so Stampin' Up can't carry Whisper White anymore, and it's actually all sold out. But thankfully, they've got the basic white in, and this is basic white. And I'm going to show you the differences at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Not a lot of differences, so I'm really happy with this basic white. It stamps very well. Okay, so I'm taking my Poppy Parade ink pad and the large floral image in the stamp set. Hold that down for a few seconds. There we go. I love the detail on that. I don't know if you can see that. Got some highlights. Love it when they do that. Okay, I think we're done. Yep, we're done with the Poppy Parade, so we'll close that up so it doesn't get dried out on me. And I'm going to go ahead while I'm thinking of it, because I know when I get going, we're going to be using a different color on this one. So I'm going to clean it up with my chamois. Now we'll get going. Let's go ahead and bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We do have the mini one now, but I'm having to bring the large one in for this because I'm going to be using a regular sized embossing folder. So let's go ahead and get this ready for embossing. So we need the platform number 1, and then we need the folder. I'm using the Ornate Floral folder. You can find this in the annual catalog, and a piece of pretty pink. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And the color combo I'm using comes out of the DSP I'm using. And I forgot to write that down. It's the Field and Flower DSP. I'm glad I remembered that. It's you can get it free with a $50 order, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. So we put this in. You always want to put it in fold first. Then you want to grab the specialty plate, which is number 4. Run that through. And you get this beautiful embossing. I still love this folder. We've had it since June, but I still love it. I use it a lot. Okay, now we'll get this ready for some die cutting. So I'll put the platform number 1 in again. You want to grab the die plate, which is number 2, a standard cutting plate, which is number 3. Okay, now we're going to get this die cut. You want to grab the die. Now the way I line this up, I look for I'll hold it like this. Find the petal that's the widest and the flattest, and that one is like this one here, and that's how I lined it up. Whenever I have dies that I'm not sure how it lines up, I find a petal that I can kind of tell that's a little different than the rest of them. It helps me line it up better. Now I'll put this down very carefully so it doesn't move. Run it through, and we'll have this die cut. Now there's one thing I forgot to show you before I started die cutting, so we've got that flower ready to go. I think I can still do it with this here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking a piece of Granny Apple Green. This is a 2.5 by 3 1/4, and another piece of the adhesive sheets at the same size, 2.5 by 3/4. And I'm going to attach this on here. What you do, it's got a little, I don't know if you can see that little line there, a little perforation here. I'm going to take this off. The piece that you just took off is the part that has the sticky. So you're going to turn it over, and I'm going to line it up right here on the just one of the sides of my Granny Apple Green. And then I'm going to take this other piece off and do the same with it. It's okay if it's not lined up perfectly. You just want most of the die to be covered. Okay, so there we go. We've got this. Now we're going to turn this over, lay this down. I'm going to grab this beauty, and let's go ahead and do this one here too. So I'm going to lay this down here. This one I'm not going to worry about doing adhesive. I'm going to show you an easy way to do that without the adhesive sheets. You can definitely use adhesive sheets the same way as I'm doing this one if you want to. Then we're going to put another standard cutting plate on top. And I'm going to run it through a couple times because I want to make sure I got through that adhesive. Okay. So we've got this one here. Look, all those pieces just fell out. I'm going to put that in there. Let's go and put that in there too so I don't lose it. And then we've got this, and I'll take that out here in a minute. Get all these out of the way. And now we're going to die cut one more thing. You need a piece of basic white that is, let's see, 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to grab that second largest scallop die. Put that on there, and we're going to run it through. I find it's a little easier when I'm going to stamp something on a large piece that's die cut, especially when it's a photopolymer stamp set. I go ahead and die cut before I stamp. Now, unless I'm wanting to get it completely centered. This one I'm going to put it up in the top corner, so I do find it easier just to do it this way. If I was put in the center, I probably would have just stamped it and then die cut. Okay, you just do whichever way you want. That just happens to be the easiest way for me. Okay, I think that is all the die cutting. Yes, it is. So we'll get this out of the way. Okay, now I've got all of the pieces ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and take my little putty thing off of here. This is my Take Your Pick tool. I love the different tips that we have for this. I'm going to put this on here, and while this is still in the die, I think it's easier to get all those little pieces out like this. I'll probably still have to use, and I could use that little pad that comes with it, but sometimes I don't bother because there's not a lot of little pieces. If it was something that was more intricate, I probably would have used that little pad that comes with it. But I'll get all of these little pieces out. And the only reason some of them are sticking is because we've got that adhesive sheet. And we'll see this one dangling. It's because it's still a little sticky here on the edges. That's why it's not wanting to come off quite as quick as normal. If this didn't have the adhesive sheet, it would come off even quicker. Oops, that one's not one, is still sticky too. There we go. They definitely die cut with no problem. They just get a little sticky. So now we'll get all these little pieces out of the way. And let's do the stamping here on this. And grab my Stampin' Pierce mat again, and I'm going to use that big Happy stamp. Love this stamp. That font is just, it's gorgeous. Get this with the Mango Melody. That's the ink pad for this one. And I'm going to put this in the top right corner, but not all the way to the top. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. Stamp that, hold it down for a few seconds. There we go. We've got that beautiful Happy. And now we are going to do some embossing. This will be the last stamping thing we need to do. So let's put this over here with my other sheets. We are going to emboss with white embossing powder. Grab a piece, and now this you don't want to use a scrap. You want to use the size I'm telling you. This is 1.5 by 1/2. So 1.5 by 1/2 with basic black. I'm going to take my Versamark pad and the birthday stamp in the set. Going to stamp it real quick right here in the middle. Actually, kind of over to the left. I want it centered up and top and bottom, but over to the left. Love it being photopolymer because I can see where I'm stamping. Now you probably can't see this, but it looks fine. It's up a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's one thing. It's handmade. You don't want it to look like it's a machine did it. Okay, now I'm going to grab my tweezers. I've got some here. I'm going to put it through my white embossing powder. Now it comes in a little jar, but I put it in here because it's just a lot easier to mess around and to work with, actually, I should say. See that? Now you see that birthday with no problem. I'm going to kind of flick some of this off. There we go. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to take my tweezers again so I don't burn my fingers, get my heat tool. Now this is very hot, so you don't want to get your hands in the way. You want to let it run for a little bit because you want to get it good and hot. I'll bring this up a little higher so you can see what I'm doing. Kind of put it in an angle. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. That white is going to start getting real shiny. I leave it so you can see the middle start getting shiny. Once it starts to do that, then I move, and then it's all done. So that didn't take long at all because it's such a little one. You don't want to go back and forth with your heat tool. Just stay on a spot till you see it start to melt and then move it until you get it all melted. Okay, now I'm going to take my paper snips and just do a little quick. I didn't want this just to be a regular straight edge. I'm going to kind of do a little right one like that. Super easy to cut. You could also make it a banner if you wanted to, but that's the look I was going for. So now I think we are ready to put this card together. I'm going to grab the card base. This is a 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to fold this in half, like so. Get those corners. I can never get hold of my bone folder. Get those corners lined up. Okay, so we got that here. It's going to be a landscape card, horizontal. Okay, now we need to get that beautiful emboss piece that we did a few minutes ago. This is that petal pink piece. And then you want to grab that piece of designer series paper. This is the Field and Flower DSP. You can get this free with the $50 order. That's before shipping and tax. It's a part of sale-a-bration, which ends February 28th, 2021. And what I'll do at the end of this video, I'll tag on another little video to show you all the designs in this paper because it's gorgeous. I love this paper. Okay, we're going to go ahead and attach this right here. So I'm going to grab my seal. Make sure I've got it there on the ends. Wheel it a little. It seems like every time I store it, it kind of moves on me. So just wheel it so that you see the sticky part again. Then it works without any problem. So we're going to put it right here. Okay. You kind of want to have this design that you want to see the most on the side. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn this like this because I like those pink flowers because I'm going to have that rectangle kind of covering up this little center section right here. So we lift that up again, line it up, let a little bit of petal pink show. Okay. Then we're going to grab the happy. And actually, I'm just going to lay this down for right now. I know I'm going to be putting this here. I want to make sure that we still see that happy. Okay. So really, if you center it from top and bottom and then move it over a little bit, you should be fine. So let's go. And one good thing, if you're using seal, you're going to be able to lift it back up again if it's not in the right spot. But I try to stamp it so it would all work. So you can kind of see how I got it down a little bit lower than the stitching on the top. And then I'm going to bring this over here like so. So it's going to over to the right a little bit so it's not right in the center. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, now I'll show you how to do this. Sometimes you just have to bend it a little bit, play with it. There we go. I just bent it a little bit and that made me be able to start it. It is so easy to take off once you get started. Now, remember that little perforation we had? That's where that perforation is. So I'm going to bend it a little bit. There we go. So we've got all that off and all this is sticky. So I just made my own sticker. So now we're going to put it on just like this. And what I did, I lined this and the bottom of this stem together to the bottom of this. And then I'm even going to have this leaf hang over just a little bit because we're still going to have that card base there. Okay. So there we go. So that's how that's lined up. Made it super simple having that. I didn't have to use any glue to put on there. Those adhesive sheets are wonderful. I love them. Let's go ahead and put this on the card base while we're at it. Because I'm going to start putting some things on with dimensionals, and it's a lot easier to put flat things onto a card base. Okay, so now we're going to lay this here. Okay. See, I like the way the leaf hangs over a little bit. Looks good, but still within the card base. Now I'm going to grab these two die cuts. Grab my birthday. I thought I lost that there for a second. Let's go ahead and put this on. We're going to put it on with dimensionals. And I'm going to use, I used every bit of my dimensionals. So I'm going to use these little half ones that are here. And while they're still on this paper backing, it's a lot easier to cut them this way instead of ripping them off and then cutting them off. And I'm going to put one right here and the other one right here. Get those paper backings off. I'm going to put it right here under the happy. Make sure it's straight. And I'm letting it hang over that scallop just a little bit. I don't want to hang it over too much because I still want to see this beautiful design on this paper. Okay, now I'm going to grab, actually let's do this first. I'm gonna grab these opal rounds. These are so pretty. There are 2 different sizes on them. And I think this is in the Sand and Sea Suite. They're definitely in the January to June mini catalog. And I'm going to color these. Now these would look pretty just the way they are, but I'm going to take the dark Mango Melody. I'm going to take the brush tip. This is Stampin' Blend, by the way. I just realized I didn't say that. And I'm going to make this yellow so it matches the yellow that's in the card. It's actually an orangey yellow. So let it dry for a little bit. Just takes a few seconds in this alcohol, and then you can go over it again to make it a little darker. And when it looks the way you want it, make sure you get that cap on because this is alcohol ink and you don't want that to dry out. You can see I've made a yellow little embellishment. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to put that putty thing back on because I've learned the putty attachment works really good. Let me get this cap off, then screw it on to lift these up. So I'm going to do this, kind of scoot it, and then it's sticking directly on there. It makes it so much easier, and you get that adhesive when you scoot it like that. Love that. So I'm going to put this right here in the center, like so. Okay. Now the reason I decided to put this on first, I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of here. Okay. I guess you could have done it the other way. It doesn't really matter. But this glue dot will not be seen now that we've got that embellishment over that hole. Lift this up. And once again, this actually lines up with this stamp. So I'm going to find the wider, flat petal again. I think it's this one. And then it is this one here on this one. And they line up perfectly. Now you don't have to line it up perfectly. It still looks good either way. But if you want it lined up perfectly, that's how you do it. Now I'm going to take some dimensionals again. This time I'm going to use full-sized ones. And 3 should do it. Put it like a triangle on the back. Remove the paper backing. Okay, and then we will put this flower right here, making sure we see all 3 leaves and we're not covering up that happy. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. There, that looks pretty good. So we've got that on there. So the front of the card is done. Now we want to do the inside. So I'm going to get some things out of the way here. You want to grab a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of the basic white. I'm going to grab some grid paper too because I'm going to be stamping off a little bit. Now this is why I cleaned off my flower, because this time I'm going to use Mango Melody. I could have gone ahead and used the Poppy Parade, but since the inside of this card already will have Poppy Parade around it, I want to bring another color inside the card. So we're going to bring in Mango Melody, stamp it here. I'm just going to stamp a little bit of it right here. Okay. And let's stamp another one, like a half of one up here. Okay. Then we're going to add some leaves to it. So I've got Granny Apple Green, which is one of the colors in the DSP, and this leaf stamp. Got a little flake there. Stamp that, just stamp it wherever you want. And sometimes I like to double up the leaves a little bit. So I'm going to do that. I think this one needs one down here. Okay. This one we might just do one because it's only showing part of it. And I think I'm going to do it over here too. That way you've got room to do some writing. If you're not going to do a lot of writing, we could have put one down here too. But just put the leaves wherever you want them. And then we'll add this to the inside of the card. Grab my seal. And we're going to put this in. You can decide which way you like it. You can do it this way, of course, or this way. But this is the way I want to do it. And we are done with this card. Isn't it gorgeous? I can't wait to keep playing with this. It is so much fun. Okay, now I promised you that I was going to show you the differences between basic white and whisper white. I'm hoping you can see the difference. So first off, I'm going to show you the whisper white. This is our regular, was the regular one, not the thick one. And then here is the basic white. Now, like I said, I'm hoping you can see this. It's a very, very, very faint. So if you're not seeing it, then you know it's really not a big deal. The basic white is actually a little brighter white, I think. I think the whisper white is a little more muted. So this is, I think the basic white is a truer white. There is a little more, they told us there's a little more of a grain. There might be a little bit. I kind of feel it, maybe. It's very, very close. You're not going to notice, and it stamps beautifully. And I'll show you the difference because the first card I made was with Whisper White. The one we just made just a minute ago was with the basic white. So I was going to show you the difference. Then you're not going to see a difference. Then I've also got the thick Whisper White and the basic white. Same thing here. This is the Whisper White, and the basic white's just a little bit brighter. Not much of a difference. And the thicknesses are the same too. At least that's what it feels like. So if I can tell a difference by touching it, then it should be fine. Now here is the Whisper White envelope and the basic white envelope. Same thing again. This one's just a little bit brighter than this one, but they look exactly the same. They've got the same curve in our flaps, which I love. So don't be upset that Whisper White's gone. Basic white works just as good. Okay, now let's see how it stamps. Here's the original card I made. This is the one with the Whisper White, and this is the one with the basic white. Can you see the difference? They really look just as good. It stamps just as good. I'm really happy with it. Same with the inside. Let's show that. See, Whisper White's on the left and the basic white is on the right. No, it looks fine. I don't see any difference. I'm happy with it. So don't worry thinking, oh, the basic white's not going to be as good as Whisper White. I love the Whisper White. You're still going to be happy with this. Okay, so now I'll get the Field and Flower DSP and show you all the designs so you don't miss that. And like I said, you get this free with a $50 order during celebration. I'll be right back. Okay, here is the gorgeous Field and Flower DSP. Like I said, this is free with a $50 order before shipping and tax. This is the side that we used on the card. And here's the opposite side for it. Here's this one. Aren't they just gorgeous? The colors are just, oh, I love the colors. I think that's why, and the designs are gorgeous, of course, too. But the colors just make it so much more special. And I love how they're totally different, because this is totally different from these two. Without the black. This is a just jade background. Okay, then we've got this side. Always need polka dots. And we've got some pretty white daisies with this side. Isn't that pretty? I love the ones with the black background. It just makes the colors pop. And we've got this one. I think that's shaded spruce. That's another green that's in it. And then this one here. And this one here is stripes. You gotta have stripes too. Okay, so that was the Field and Flower DSP. Love this paper. You get 2 of each design, and they're 12 by 12 inch sheets, and they are all double-sided as you saw. And you can get this free during celebration for $50 order. That's before shipping and tax. And don't forget, celebration ends February 28th, 2021. So you don't want to miss out. So you can place your order by clicking my online store link below in the video description. And if you're not sure how to redeem your celebration rewards in an online order, I've made a video for that. I'll put a link to that in the top right corner. And you can also find the link down in the video description. Wasn't that paper gorgeous? I just love it. And here are the cards again, so you can see them one more time. And if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. And if you would like some catalogs, I can get those mailed out to you. Here are the 2 current ones, the annual one, the mini catalog. Love this mini catalog, and Sale-a-bration. This is the one that has everything in here that you can get for free. There are some that are free with a $50 order, like the paper I showed you, and some that are free with a $100 order. So if you'd like these, just click on the Contact Me link below in my video description, and I'll get them mailed out to you right away. Bring the cards back in again. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, please subscribe to my channel below, and make sure you click that little bell icon and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I do a video. Okay, well, I hope you come back and see me again sometime. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure helps. See you later.